Oh, hello, guys. Welcome to the very first episode of Ghouls Gone Wild, a brand new project that I've been working on um, from my side project from Pinksock. And today's, hang on. And today's guest, I am actually, this was a last minute guest. Um, he is. He is the host of Pinksock Podcast. Also, he you could see him on Dabbins with Dab, if I'm saying that properly. Dabs with Dabs. And he's got a new one coming out called Medications for the Medicated Minds. So please welcome Mr. Mike, Captain Pinksock Usenick.
At your duty, brother. This is honestly a weird feeling being on your show as a guest. It's very interesting, bro. Also, I do have. Is there if I give another things that I'm working on before we jump into this?
Yeah, man.
I do have a new song that I'm featured on by the local DJ. His name is Spot. It is called Spot Remover. It is coming out Friday.
Spot remover sounds like a cleaning
I did.
product.
I did an advertisement for the song. I took a spray bottle and put spot remover, like the logo that I created on it, and I did a full on like Billy Mays style advertisement. Oh, by the way, bro, a little word of advice while we are on the air. When you're done putting
Yeah.
up overlays, go back to your logo and put it back on the top. That's something that I'm trying to get the hang of on this StreamYard. StreamYard's a new thing for me as well.
Oh
You're doing
yeah. Yeah.
you're doing an amazing job for your first episode, by the way. Also, I do have another song called I Can't Believe It's Not Coffee from a local DJ. You're going to laugh even harder because the DJ's name is Loose Bean. It's based,
Legit.
yeah, their name's Loose Bean, and it's pretty much me saying, oh, wait, it's a DJ, not a coffee kind of ordeal. Um,
Yeah, that that's a crazy ass name. Like Bruce
yeah.
Bean. What the fuck, man?
Also,
Like,
I am
yeah.
going to be on the radio, not like AM FM radio, but like online radio every weekend starting October 14th. Well, there might be some weekends I'm not there, but starting October 14th, I'm going to be on WTHC radio. And I am announcing also, I'm going to announce this publicly on your show. I didn't announce it on Pinksock yet. Um,
Oh,
the up and coming and up and rising hip hop artist, Too White, is doing his first interview ever on WTHC radio on October 14th. So you get to hear a little bit of a backstory about a guy that I met recently. His name's Too White. He lives in Ohio, but he's actually originally from the bad streets of Sesame. Um,
fuck, man. You and I have busy schedules coming up.
we do, and it's all artistic entertainment. It's not us, it's work, but it's not us earning a shit ton of money just for fun, which is good, but it's
Mm.
fucking we're working our asses off to get our names out there, and that's why I'm proud of you for doing this. I was
It's this
hoping
is well, this is great because like it keeps your mind focused, and you know it kind of knocks out all the other bullshit that's going around. You know what I mean? You're just focusing doing what you love. Um, uh, I've opened up a Instagram account. The links are in my normal Instagram bio. And a friend of mine named Corey Thomas, he goes by the name of Valkyrie AD. He's a guitarist, songwriter, plays in a death metal band called Valkyrie AD.
Mhm.
I discovered him through Death Comes Lifting, and he messaged me on the podcast what you call Instagram page saying that you know, looking forward for this new show, my dude. And so I'm just like, well, if you want to come on the show, man, you're more than welcome, dude.
See,
Like the gates open,
I
and
know I said
anyone that wants to come in, they can come in.
Exactly. And that's what I love about shows like this. And I also love this about you because I was hoping you would announce something like this eventually. Not that I don't want you on Pink Sock, but you have the potential to make something of yourself in this that isn't something that I've created or somebody else has created. And that
Mm.
I love for you. And continue doing it. Yeah, it's nerve wracking, but continue doing it.
Well, if you've been doing it for that long, um, you get used to it.
Yes, you do. But
Like
hosting
I
is
see,
different.
it is a bit, but then again, I kind of see this as Pinksock, but vice versa.
It's kind of morphed into its own thing. I was thinking about, and this is just me doing business ideas publicly, kind of. I was thinking about doing like my own once I start getting like a bigger platform and more people to help other people out. I was thinking about creating my own like podcast platform for up and coming podcasters that are part of Pink Sock's community, but doing their own
Yeah,
thing and air it on that as well.
yeah, that would be pretty cool. But doing something like this is awesome. You know, you get to reach out to people, and it's just either a reply from yes or no. You know, that's it.
And you get to hear from people that there's people out there that want to be interviewed or want their side of the story or want to talk, and they're not at the height, they're not as seeked out as they used to be, if that makes any sense.
Mm,
Like there's nostalgia people out there that like they're still doing shit, they're still releasing great albums, but publicly they're not as popular as they once was, if that makes any sense. And that's what I
yeah,
love about this is you get to do that, you get to introduce people to that.
yeah, and it's like it's sort of like they're rebranding themselves out there,
Yeah.
which
Yes.
is kind of cool. And you and I have done that with artists on Pinksock. You
Yeah.
know, Heavy Pattern. Well, they split up and they recently got back, released a new album.
Yeah, we got Heavy
So
Petting, the Guess Who.
yeah,
um
well, that's coming up
that's
soon,
coming up.
hopefully.
We have how many other guests have we had? We've had Doctor and the Medics, Clive Jackson. Nothing against him. I've listened to his music. His music's great, and he knows I don't mean any offense to this, but not a lot of people, especially in the United States, remember or even know who Doctor and the Medics even is.
Oh, he's just from that one song.
Yeah, and it was a cover song, which
Yeah,
nothing against him. It was a great cover. I'm just saying that he's not as well known as he used to be. And
yeah. Like, do you think like artists these days now like are pretty much like known for like cover songs a bit if they do covers,
it's
like a
weird.
cover song, and
It's
it
a
gets huge in the charts?
it's a double-edged sword, Greg, about that. Especially
Mm,
like shock rockers, which this is what the show's about. It's about shock rock. It's about horror. It's about music in general.
yeah,
Um, it does get that way, but it's also a double-edged sword to say nowadays because, like with Doctor and the Medics, and even some of the shock rock groups out there, like Lordy. I love Lordy. I love all their music, but 9 times out of 10, if you bring up Lordy, the person either don't know who the fuck they are or they only know hard rock, hallelujah, which is not a cover. I'm gonna get back to the covers thing, but
yeah.
there's been artists that were popular for just cover songs for years now, like Joan Jett and the Blackhearts.
I love
I
rock and roll.
Love Rock and Roll was actually by The Arrow, which was a 1960s
Yes,
rock band.
yeah, yeah.
I know a lot about music. You have the right person on this fucking show.
Yeah, dude. It's people make a living out of that, man. Like it is what it is, I guess.
I have an idea,
What's
a
that?
random idea I just thought of. How about I'm going to give up something from Pink Sock and give it to you if you want it?
Oh, what is it?
Since your show is based more on the horror realm of things and more so on the horror and music aspect, How about we not do Pinksock Reacts Halloween edition and it just be Ghouls Gone Wild reacting to that shit on a when you don't have a guest?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Like we
Because
can list.
we're in the Halloween season right now. It's
Mhm.
October.
Yep.
Well, October the 3rd for me, October the 2nd for you, obviously, because I'm from the future. But yeah,
Pumpkin
I
season.
think punk. Yeah, for you guys, yes. For us, it's just dress up and go to nightclubs and
Oh, you guys
celebrate.
don't do pumpkin
How
spice at all?
I don't think so. It Halloween traditions in here, it's kind of boring. I know there's younger kids out there, like they love to dress up and do trick or treating and stuff. But I remember when I was younger, I dressed up as fucking. I think I dressed up as Alice Cooper or somebody from Kiss, and I was just so excited because I was just, I loved Halloween when I was young, and I loved Kiss. I loved Alice Cooper when I was younger, and then I think it was me and a friend went trick or treating, and there's fucking a knock on the door, and I'm like, trick or treating, guy's like, get off my yard. I'm like, what the fuck?
That's fucking wild, dude. So I
Because
do have.
it's not huge it's not huge here. It's kind of shit, but
You
yeah.
don't do trick or treat. You don't do. Well, the thing is, though, is I do have to give you guys credit really quick. I know this
Mm.
isn't the type of show for that, but I just want to give credit to Australia and other countries. The reason why you guys probably don't do pumpkin spice and you don't do the whole trick or treat or anything is because your countries are relatively, when it comes to eating, healthier than the United States. We're just handing out fucking chocolate and artificial flavored pumpkin shit, and you guys are like, we're not gonna fuck with
It's
that.
changed a lot, Dan. It's changed a lot. My tattoo artist, where I got my tattoo from last
Mhm.
week, he told me he went to College Junior. College Junior is in Australia now.
It is. Carl's Jr. is a great burger joint. You should
Yeah, he
definitely.
told me it's actually pretty decent.
Carl's Jr., I do believe, is connected to Hardee's. I think they're the same restaurant, just in different parts of the world.
Yeah, right.
Because we
Yeah,
have,
they're actually bringing all this American stuff here now.
well, it's weird because Carl's Jr., I've been to a Carl's Jr. and I've been to a Hardee's.
Mm,
Hardee's is more so in the like East Coast, Midwest kind of area is where you'll see those. And Carl's
yeah,
Jr., I do believe you see more towards the West Coast and in other countries.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
they're the same owners. But anyway, Greg, I have an idea. If you want to do this, we can. Because I want to help bring more people and more eyes to Ghouls Gone Wild. How about you find another guest for, let's say, Wednesday, next Wednesday, if
Yeah.
you're available? We're not going to do Pink Sock Reacts anymore if you want. And we can actually make a Ghouls Gone Wild edition and just do like rank our favorite shock rock albums or like shit like that, favorite horror movies, because that changes all the time. And just bring guests on for that, dude. That would be awesome.
Yeah. Well, like I spoke to Ace Von Johnson early yesterday morning at like 3 o'clock. I couldn't sleep and I was going through shit. And I messaged him and I'm like, hey bro, starting up a podcast. Would you like to, join? It's called Ghouls Gone Wild. I know it sounds weird, but yeah. He goes, yeah, let's do it. And I'm like, fuck yeah. Because like I met Ace Von Johnson through Connect's show, and I was on there for a little bit. We got to hang out and chat. But for him to say yes, and he said he's available from after October 9th. So I'm pushing maybe October 10th or 11th to have him on.
Fucking
And
cool.
yeah, he's such an awesome dude. So laid back. He obviously he plays guitar for one of the biggest hair metal bands from the 80s,
Mm-hmm.
LA Guns. But then
Everybody
like
has though, bro. I'm just kidding.
yeah, yeah, everybody in the LA Strip, Sunset Strip has probably he loves horror, you
Mm-hmm.
know, I believe he does dog rescuing from shelters or he's like a part of that as well. So Yeah, I'm super stoked to have him on. I'm just waiting for a reply to see if he wants to do that date because next week's is probably going to be a busy one for me because well, Zach was supposed to be on. He misread the message and saying he can't do it today. Can we do it next week? I'm like, okay, boom. Monday
You
for you, Tuesday for me. And then I think a few days later will be like Ace Von Johnson if he can do it. So and then I think Pinksock. So
Bro,
yeah.
let me know when you do these so I can advertise them on all of our groups and shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I know Zach said he's definitely doing it. He will be doing it next week.
Because
Um
I know that this is its own entity, but I would like to promote it with Pink Sock as well to help grow you as well.
well yeah, if there's any sponsors out there, um hit
We're
me up.
both looking.
I'm not asking for much here. Like I know this is like the first episode and normally it's just stripped down and just, shit goes wrong. But like, I'm not asking for much. But like, if you guys want to like be the sponsor for this podcast, I just don't want to get sued by Alice Cooper if he ever sees this.
Hey, bro, I'm going to do this. I'm going to try to get you a sponsor right now. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, let's do a little advertisement real quick. Are you into spooky shit? Well,
Yeah.
Ghouls Gone Wild has you covered. Do you like do you like coffee? Because Catfight Coffee has you covered. Go to catfightcoffee.com and get your coffee needs while you watch Ghouls Gone Wild. AC Slade, sponsor my man Grant. Come on. You don't even have to send him money or anything because this man buys all your fucking coffee every month.
Yeah, man. That cost me an
Sponsor.
arm and a leg, bro. But it's worth it.
We love you,
I'm
AC.
wearing your goddamn t-shirt for God's sake, man. Come on.
We love you, AC. But if you sponsor Greg, I'd love you even more.
He, I asked him if he wants to join, and he said, "Why not?" So I'm like, I'm think he's on tour with Static X and Dope.
Oh, also, Greg, you failed to mention earlier. I'm not trying to call you out on your own show, but it's a little factoid that you might want to know when you interview him. Ace Von Johnson isn't just in one of the bigger LA bands, but he's in two of the bigger
Yeah,
LA bands. He's in
Faster
fact
Pussycat.
He's also in Faster Pussycat, which I know a lot of people out there, unless you're a huge music fan, there are a lot of people out there that don't know who Faster Pussycat is nowadays. Um,
Yeah,
they are fucking incredible. If you don't know who
funny.
they are, check them out.
What's well, funny that you mentioned Faster Pussycat. One of their guitar players was Australian,
Uh huh. What is
Ronnie
your
Simmons.
what is your favorite Faster Pussycat song? Since you're going to be interviewing Ace Von Johnson of Faster Pussycat,
I've maybe only heard like one song was House of Pain.
bro. You need to do yourself a justice really quickly before you interview Ace.
Yeah,
I know Ace wasn't on a lot of their albums. I don't know if he was on an album because Faster Pussycat has had a lot of lineup changes over the years.
I think it was just a live member. I might have to ask him this.
Because I don't think he was on any of the albums because the last album they released, I'm going to laugh when I say this because I laugh every time I say this. July
Yeah.
13th, 2006, Faster Pussycat released their last album so far, and it's called The Power and the Glory Hole.
Wow.
But
And I thought like calling Pinksock is like a fucking bad name, but like having that as an album title name is like whoa.
bro, Too White, my little rap friend, he's working on a song. The working title, I'm not sure if this is going to be the title at the end of the day because you know how art works, but the working title is Broken Backs and Fanny Packs. But back on horror though, and I'm not trying to take over your show. I'm just trying to keep
Nah, it's so good.
horror. What is your before we really dive into it in a couple weeks? Because you are you cool with that idea doing a horror theme?
I think that's a brilliant idea because I want to build the the channel as well.
Yeah, and
I'm not
simply,
fussed about. I'm not really fussed on how many subscribers. I'm exactly like you. You know, I'm not trying to do this for the fame or anything because I'm doing it because I love it, and I know I have friends like yourself and um, other people around the world will 100% support this, and I appreciate the fuck out of them. But dude, like, if you can help me out with some little things, man, I appreciate it.
bro, I will help you out to the fullest extent because unlike Pinksock, and I'm going to rag on myself really quick, Pinksock doesn't really have a set theme or anything. You have a lot more potential, and I will openly admit this right now. You with this show have a lot more potential than I do because you have the horror and music, you have a theme. So what you can do is interview any guest and you can ask them spooky fucking questions that are off the wall, like not even music related or related to their art. You can be like, yo, like, who's the most interesting serial killer in your eyes? Or like questions like that.
Yeah. Well, this is the reason why I wanted to do a podcast like this. Well, okay, so funny story how I came up with this podcast. Like, I was taking a shit, obviously.
That's how I thought of Pinksock.
Yeah. And I was just like, fuck it, man. I'm gonna start a podcast one day, man. And like the naming is hard because like you have to be careful in what you pick
Yeah.
because apart from the pink sock, but like it's heaps hard to find something because like you go on Google for like horror podcast names and it comes with a list down of ideas what you can pick, but then you search on Spotify, it's already taken.
Yeah, you either search on Spotify and it's taken, or it's not a good name at all. You just used like a fucking generator and it turns up to be like weird name. But
Yeah,
Greg, the best ideas, as you said, are done when you're taking a dump.
I think so.
Like I think
I wish it happened. I wish it worked out with me like that at work, but it never does. But like,
well, if Pink Sock doesn't go anywhere at all and I become famous for something else or popular for something else or something else happens, I'd like to do another show called Dump Talk where I'm just on the fucking shitter and just coming up with ideas. I'm just kidding.
yeah, that'd be cool. But yeah, I always wanted to do because like music or like metal or hard rock and horror goes well, hand to hand. Um, I think it's really good to combine something like that. Or it doesn't have to be metal and horror. It could just be whatever, and still have a love for like music and horror movies. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Or you can also go through the darkness because you are horror. It doesn't necessarily have to be fake horror. We can go to like crime, like fucking unsolved crimes or like criminals or serial killers and shit. We can go through that whole line. I actually have another idea for an episode if you would like to have me back on to help you with this. I
Mm,
would love to do a full blown episode for your podcast that'll help bring eyes of people are really into crime and horror and serial killers and stuff. A lot of people are. How
yeah,
about how about we do an episode of the top 10 serial killers that nobody's really heard of?
yeah, yeah, for sure. Like this is just the beginning, and I know it's gonna take a lot of work, but I'm down for early ideas. The earlier the better. You know,
I'm all for it.
um, it's like when uh last yesterday when I just fucking just DMing fucking people and asking if they want to come on. I asked Riggs, but then he stopped doing interviews and stuff. It's just understandable.
Bro, doing it
I've
all
reached
the time is rough.
it is, yeah, and he probably gets sick or tired of like what's it like to be back with Rob Zombie after a 20-year absence. You know what I mean?
See, I'm not at Riggs's level, obviously, but like I do a lot of podcasts. And I can
Mm,
only imagine being at his level where everybody wants to talk to you and it's like questions about Rob and it's this, that, and the other. I can only imagine. And what it kind of sucks for podcasters like us because Nothing against the others, nothing against interviewers, but I feel we are more unique in an aspect of like our way of interviewing. And I don't know because I've this is my first time on Ghouls Gone Wild. This is the first episode, but I know you as a person. Me and you are the same yet different. We are conversational style interviews. We don't ask the questions that most people do. We just talk.
Yeah.
And sometimes those questions do come up. They have to. But like it's not a whole segment of it.
Yeah. I think maybe like sometimes how I kind of see it as well. I think like sometimes asking those type of questions again isn't too bad because like you might be having new listeners too, you know.
Exactly. And also asking the same questions isn't necessarily bad because, especially if years have passed, because the human mind is weird. The way you view the world changes over time.
Mm, yeah.
Sometimes, like your views, and that's like I hate when people are like, "You used to think this way, but you've changed so much." Like that's a bad thing. You've matured
Yeah.
and you've learned more.
Yeah.
That's like if I was to interview, and I'm just throwing a name out there. I'm not saying that one way or another because I don't know the brain, but that's like many years ago or a few years ago, John Corabi had issues with Motley Crue. And I know there's still kind of animosity there, but like he's been very vocal about not wanting to be a part of it. And they've been not very vocal, but they've spoken on how they don't want Corabi back or whatever. That could change in like 5 years. They could fucking love each other again. Like it happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
But you know, I kind of wish Motley Crue just stayed retired.
speaking of ghouls, ghosts, and goblins, and whatever else your show's about, um, I would like to talk about ghosts really quick because I do have a ghost story if you're interested.
Yeah, go for it, dude.
Not seeing them today, and you're excited,
Yeah,
but
I am. First time. First time.
have you ever, Greg, experienced the paranormal, or at least thought you experienced the paranormal? Because we can't prove one way or another.
Yeah. I haven't. Um, but my mum has.
Do you want to tell your mom's story, or did you want to wait for another episode
Um,
to do that?
nah, I could bring it up now because I'm just probably gonna forget about it. So like her late my stepdad, her partner passed away like maybe 3 years ago from lung cancer, and
Well,
yeah, it was shit, but it is what it is. And I remember she was telling me she was like in the bed, and she felt something like just behind her, and then the pillow that was in the bed or something like that just like fell on the floor
that's wild, dude.
or something like that. She knows that his spirit is still there with her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I believe in the paranormal, and that's a wild story, Greg. Um,
Because sometimes it's hard to believe about these things until you actually experience it. I know there's a lot of people that would probably have much more wild shit, you know, what
well,
they have experienced.
that's
But
the thing about the human brain, though, Greg, is we either when we look at something that we can't explain or we don't know the answer to, either we fear it, we ignore
mm,
it like it's not there, or we just fucking those are the two things that we do. We either ignore it like it's not there, or we don't believe it, or we're afraid of it. Those are the three things we do. That's what I was my mindset. Because the human brain, if it doesn't understand it, it tries to understand it, and the way it reacts to it is those three ways. And that's
yeah,
just how the brain is. The brain does not understand what it does not know, so it freaks out or it just ignores the problem. So with ghosts, that's how a lot of people are. And I was haunted by I've had a couple instances, but the one that sticks with me because I know it was paranormal. There was no ifs, ands, or buts or doubts about it. And
yeah,
I've told this story a couple times. I don't know if I've ever told it on Pinksock, so I will tell you it now if you're ready for it.
go for it.
So let me explain to you who the person was that haunted me, and then I'll explain the haunting. My grandmother, she lived to be like 84. That doesn't matter, but I'm explaining. She was living in like a nursing home towards the end of her life, but before that, she was living with us.
Yeah.
And the way our rooms are is her bedroom was like here, and we had the computer in the kitchen right here. Well, while she was living with us before she went to the nursing home, she would leave her bedroom, see me on the computer because I've always been a late bird. Just lately, I started falling asleep somewhat earlier, other than last night and the night before. But I would be sitting there on the computer doing whatever I'm doing, and she would walk up to me and be like, "Honey, it's time for sleep." And she'd run her hands down my arm and rub my hair and be like, "It's time for sleep, dear," and then go to the bathroom. And then she'd sit in the
Mm.
recliner in the living room and she'd just chill out in the recliner. And my dog at the time would walk up to her and she'd pet it and stuff or whatever. Well, when she passed, the night of her passing, I was depressed, of course, and I was on the computer. Now, like clockwork, at like 1 a.m., when she normally would do this, I felt a cold wind go up my hand and brush my hair. And I'm like, that's weird because it was in the middle of summer. No windows were open, none of that. We just had an AC in a separate room. Like it couldn't have been that. It
Mm.
couldn't have been just something mishap. But I'm like, whatever, that's weird. But I'm going to go to the bathroom because I just had the urge to go to the bathroom. So I got up and I went to go to the bathroom. And when I looked into the living room, the dog at the time that I had walked up to the recliner my grandma normally sat in, put his tail between his legs, and ran away from it in fear. And they say
That's
dog,
it.
yeah,
That's creepy as shit.
and they say animals can see what humans can't. They can see the energy of a spirit and shit because that's all we are. We're energy. Scientifically, we're energy. When we die, energy cannot be created or destroyed, which means we continue on. We're just not in the shell anymore.
Mm.
So life,
Do you believe in the afterlife though?
that's what I'm getting to is I believe in a afterlife. I don't know what it is. I believe in some kind of
Mm.
creator and stuff because of that fact. It has been scientifically proven that energy cannot be destroyed or created, and we are made up of energy. So therefore, when
Mm.
we die, we might not have the memory we have because that's part of this shell that we are in. But that
Yeah.
soul that we have that is within us lives on forever.
Yeah. It's quite interesting though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like I do believe there is an afterlife when you die.
But you
Um,
might not
I
need.
don't know,
Yeah.
but yeah, you probably won't know until you experience it. You know what I mean? But then like there's all these videos out there, and like people said like um he died for like 4 hours or something and came back to life and then had this like weird afterlife experience and
If I'm
all
not
this shit.
if I'm not mistaken, now it's his story to tell, so I don't know the full story, but this is from what I remember. I'll have to talk to him
Yeah.
about it again. My father died many years ago, but he was brought back to life.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are saying, yeah, when you die, you have an out of body experience and shit, but your brain is pretty much in a dream state, so you're imagining that. But what happened to my father was he died and he saw himself from the corner of the room and he said he felt something grabbing him, like grabbing his soul or something that like a transfer out of the body from the soul or whatever you want to call it. Well, yeah, that could have been a hallucination or a dream, but he knew the doctor's name when he came back to, which he was never introduced to. He knew what kind of shoes they were wearing. He knew they used
Mm.
the paddles without them even telling him because he saw it happen.
Yeah.
So I do believe in a life after death, but I do not believe when we transfer to the afterlife, I don't think we remember this. This is all an
Mm.
illusion that we are currently in. That energy then transfers to something else. I don't know if
Mm.
it's reincarnation or if it's a ghost or whatever you want to call it, but I think that's the way
Yeah.
to explain hauntings. Is it's a
Yeah.
spirit that never reached another body or never reached another realm, and they're trapped.
Yeah. I
I
would
think
love to what's that, sorry?
I think it's pretty much that soul. is trapped on Earth for whatever reason because it never fulfilled what it needed to fulfill.
Yeah. Um, Only time can tell, dude. It's until you experience it.
Also,
um,
I heard a theory that you may be interested in.
yeah.
This is another birth and death theory, and I don't think we should. I'm afraid of death. I'll be honest, but I don't think we should be. It should be something that we're like, oh, maybe it's the best thing that's ever happened. Maybe because we haven't experienced it, we're afraid of it, but maybe it's not bad because we're not suffering anymore. We're not in
No,
pain anymore.
no.
Existence, believe it or not, right now, existence, since we are at 30 years old, both of us are 30 or past, our bodies are starting to fall apart. We're starting to feel pain. We're starting to do that on a daily basis. That's gone. So why are we afraid of it being gone?
I don't know, man. I just see it as take every day, at a time. Like every day at a time. Like, you don't know what's gonna happen next.
You know what
You know?
beautiful thing I heard recently too, Garak, that you may
Yeah.
like as well? This existence on Earth, what if it's not, it's reality, but what if it's not? Your reality is created. Think of it this way. In your brain, that is your reality. And like for instance, I catastrophize shit. Like if I find out I have a health issue, it's the worst thing in the world. But what if the health issue doesn't exist? My body's creating it due to my stress. Because
Mm,
I've heard of people reversing shit just by their brain. And,
yeah.
and it is crazy. So think of it this way though. 10 years ago, who was I? What was my creation? I didn't have a podcast. I wasn't doing anything. I thought I couldn't do it. When you face that fear or you face something that you don't think you can accomplish, the universe gifts you the ability to be like, hey, I can do this. Like with the comedy and shit, you can achieve whatever the fuck you want as long as you do it. This existence is up here.
Mm,
What do you think of that theory, Greg?
crazy.
Money ain't real. Let's talk right now. Like
Mm,
I'm in debt up to my eyes and I freak out about it, but in reality, money ain't fucking real, especially in 2023 where everything's
yeah.
digital. Money's not fucking real. It's a man-made concept to keep us stressed and keep us where we need to be and keep us aligned. And I'm sorry for talking
Yeah.
about this shit on the show about horror, but we went down that realm of death and all that shit. Now, what do you think is after this world, this life, this existence? Do you think like we go on to reignite relationships with our elders and we meet up with all these people in a different realm, or do you think our spirit just continues on with life in a peaceful manner and we don't know
I
this?
I reckon I think like our spirit when we die will just carry on to somewhere. Maybe there's going to be like a bright light that will guide us to
Mm-hmm.
that next life, maybe, and be with the other surroundings that's past. Maybe, who knows? It's hard to tell.
Well, hey, Garak, how about this theory? Whenever you die, they say you see a light.
Yep.
What if that light is your exit through a vagina into the next life? Like you become a baby. Now think of it this way. You're laughing, but hear this theory out. Babies, when they come out, they're crying and unable to talk. Why are they crying? Because of all of the trauma from their past life and the fact that they had just died. As you get
Yeah.
older, people have found out that kids are talk about shit that they shouldn't know about. Like so one kid was born and said, I used to be a train conductor and talks about this shit. What if your memory as you are a baby, you're relearning how to talk and all this shit. So your memory from your past life slowly disappears because your brain can only handle so much.
That's interesting.
The human soul can only handle so much. So you end up forgetting your past life. You don't remember
Mm,
being born. As an adult, you don't remember being born 9 times out of 10. You don't remember past memories from before birth. But what if that's just your soul can't hold that much memory? So it just
See?
forgets.
Yeah.
And that's where deja vu comes from. You're meeting
Abs-
people. You're
yeah.
meeting people that you think you met before, but you didn't. Your soul sees their soul and not the human being. And you just happen to remember that, but you don't remember where from.
This is very interesting, man.
Yeah.
But
Because what
creepy
if,
at the same time.
yeah, because what if souls are recreated in the same area that you were already in, and you're just trying to
Mm.
achieve what you didn't in your past life?
We would never know.
We'd never know. And I love this show now because we can talk about death in a way that I never thought to talk about it. And it's something, I'll be honest, I've been terrified of death, getting sick and shit. But as I'm starting to get a little older, I'm starting to realize it's uncontrollable, for one, and for two, it's up here. It's
Yeah.
not, it's the ego saying, I want to be here forever. But in reality, maybe death is the best thing. I'm not saying like suicidal thoughts or whatever, but I'm saying like death, when it happens like it's supposed to, could be the best thing that ever happens on the afterworld. Because I have a friend of mine, she is terrified of death, but not dying.
Yeah.
Like she's afraid of the process. She's not, and that's what I am. I'm afraid of the process. I'm not afraid. Let's say I just fall over. Like if that's what it was, you just fall over one day. I'm cool with that. But it's the suffering that at least I'm afraid of.
Mm. When I was a lot younger, though, I was freaking out about it.
Yeah.
You know, as you are, like, when you're young, and then you start thinking about, you know, shit like that, because every year you get older.
Yeah, dude. And that's kind of where my fear came from. Like when I was younger, I had that fear. But as I get older, I'm starting to have that fear, but I'm trying to find a way to cope with it, because the older you get, let's be honest, death becomes more imminent, more people drop, more health problems occur. But a lot of those health issues I've come to realize is people are saying, yeah, diet, diet, diet. And that's what I've been doing, dieting. But, well, this past week I haven't, but we're not going to talk about that. But I also hear about people well into their 90s that eat like garbage and they're healthy. So
Yeah.
maybe your health is up here
Mm.
because your body
Yeah.
is designed to take in toxins. Your body's designed to do all that, but your body's not designed to be stressed.
Yeah. We live in a very mysterious, strange world.
We do when you think about it, but it is kind of exciting though. Like
It is.
what can we accomplish today because tomorrow might not exist. And also the past already happened, the future is going to happen. All that matters is right now.
Yeah.
And that's a very scary yet fun thing.
Mm. Yeah.
Dude, I would love to come
It,
on more often, by the way. I'd love to do
nah,
this.
it's so good. This is fun because we're going dark.
And I love
we're,
going dark.
we're Yeah, and real like my skin color, but like, yeah, it's I
Well,
try not to think it. I try not to think about it too much, man.
that's the thing. When you think about it too much, that's when it becomes worse
I
and worse.
fear, yeah,
But you also have to be able to, instead of ignoring it all the time, you have to be able to sit down and talk about these scary things and come to terms with it. Because if you don't, when you get older, it will become a legit huge problem because you never addressed it.
Have you ever read much on the Annabelle ragdoll?
Oh my God, dude. The Annabelle ragdoll. I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, it is originally a Raggedy Ann doll
Yeah,
that's possessed. And that's actually Annabelle, the movie. That doll was actually forget about the Annabelle movies for a minute. The
yeah,
first movie ever to be inspired by, and I don't think the actual name of the doll is Annabelle. It's something Forget what it is.
I haven't looked because
But
I've been watching those movies and I've been kind of diving into it.
but the original Annabelle doll, bro, is actually what Chucky was based off of from Child's Play.
Yes, I believe so.
Annabelle is pretty much more of a non-comedic version of Chucky.
Hmm.
Because Chucky,
Uh,
when Child's Play came out, it was like a comedy horror kind of thing.
yeah. Let's see if I can. So I'll see if I can pop it up on the screen because I'm getting goosebumps now. Because I've watched all the Annabelle movies. The
Uh-huh.
first one was a complete mindfuck. If you haven't seen it,
I
um,
haven't seen them. I have
especially
not.
they're on Netflix. Pop them up. There we are.
Oh damn! Yep, that Raggedy Ann doll. There's also another one that's like a male version of that.
Really, that freaked me out. That
So
fucking freaked me.
the Annabelle doll does not have a name.
What
Um,
this one?
yeah, the original.
Hmm.
Now, here's a weird part. I don't know if it's this doll or the other one I'm thinking of because there's two of them that's haunted. The woman that owns that doll currently, or the man or whoever owns that doll, it's actually in a some kind of an exhibit. That doll has been known to leave that exhibit and show up in random places,
Hmm.
and nobody's touched it.
Yeah.
It's
So do
been
you
known.
reckon?
Good.
So you
Sorry.
reckon this doll? No, you're right. So you reckon this doll has been locked up in this fucking box for a very, very long time?
It has because they used to not lock it up. They used to just have it in a case, and it would leave the case according to some sources, and it would end up like on the table, like next to it or whatever. So they actually locked it up with a padlock, I think.
Yeah. Fuck, man.
Like, that's
That's
fucking
just
scary.
It is. I'm getting the hairs on my arms are like sticking up right now as we're talking about this, and this is what I love about it. But
I love
no,
it.
like looking at this doll, dude. Like, could you
Do you?
imagine? Like, could you imagine? Like, if you like if saying like if it's your your niece's first birthday, and you got her that doll.
So I'm going to get into something really quick about these dolls and stuff, and my theory behind why inanimate objects get haunted. Um,
Yeah.
what if like serial killers and all the bad people of this world, like sexual predators and shit, what if those are demonic souls trapped in bodies, and whenever they go to the afterlife, they get punished by whatever entity, and they're trapped in a doll, kind of like Child's Play?
Mm. Scary shit. You reckon this happened in real life?
Yeah, I reckon it's possible. I mean, the human soul could probably get trapped in inanimate objects. I don't know, but I'm just exploring options. I'm not like some kind of crazy, like, oh my God, this is for sure, but I explore all options and I accept all views of it because it's life. Life's fucking weird.
Mm.
We are a bunch of cells in this that eats food that is also made of a bunch of cells, and sometimes our cells morph into bad cells and then we don't exist anymore. It's fucking weird. Life is weird when you look at it. So like
Yeah.
why not accept that yeah, this could probably exist. Even though it's off the wall, it could probably exist.
Yeah. Well, I've just been looking up video footage. I won't play it on here because obviously we'll get flagged.
Yeah.
But there is video footage of like the Annabelle doll attack footage, 1969 original doll. And I'm
Really?
too scared to click on it and look at it because that's scary shit.
That is scary. From
But
1969?
yeah,
I'm afraid to watch it, but
Me too.
I'm gonna watch it real quick without audio.
Yeah.
It was from 1969. I don't think you'd get copyright strike, but whatever. I mean, it's I don't want you getting in trouble.
Isn't it
Um,
like a 15-second thing?
it is actually a minute.
Oh, okay.
This one is from 1969. It actually is very similar to the entrance scene to The Conjuring. Um, I'm fast.
Interesting.
I'm fast forwarding because this doll ain't doing shit. Holy shit! Holy! I think that's fake.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fake because the doll literally could not be, but the doll literally is sitting on the fucking chair and it looks like a string or something. I don't see the string, but it looks like it jumps out of the fucking chair and then the video ends. The video is like a
Yeah.
minute long, but the action is like 5 seconds.
Mm.
If you don't mind, copyright only affects you if you are doing the video for longer than like a couple seconds.
Yeah.
So if you want to go ahead and put me on the
Quickly
screen, I can quickly show you.
share
If you
screen.
let me see if I can share screen. Yeah, I can share screen.
Okay. Go for it.
Um, let me. Okay, can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, let me make it bigger real quick. Now watch this. That's literally all that happens.
Okay.
I think
Kind of
it's
feel like I'll. Yeah. Well, for someone that's making as possible like bullshit video, they got
yeah,
a lot of views for it.
yeah, dude. They got a lot of views, but I don't know. I don't know if I believe it or not because it looks really fake.
Looks like I was kind of watching the Power Rangers.
Oh, by the way, just to promote our Pink Sock episode coming up, we do have today here in about an hour or so. We have Louis 13. He's a local DJ, musician, artist. I actually hung out with him last night. Great fucking dude. I love that guy.
Yeah, that's sick.
He's the
We
one that
can.
he's the one that is teaming up with me to do the comedy shows.
Ah, nice,
Um,
nice. Looking
he's a
forward
local
to it, man.
he's a local promoter and DJ, and he believes in the comedy that I'm doing and the mindset of we need to bring shit to this area. And honestly, I don't want to just bring comedy to this area. I would like to eventually make this like a touring thing and go to like towns and shit that don't normally have comedy and shit and like
Yeah,
throw shows. Even if I become
yeah,
popular, I would love to bring eyes to communities that don't normally have them eyes. Like you can pay us like whatever the travel is and then a little bit of money for our pockets, or we can sell merch or whatever we figure out, and we'll come to your town and fucking do stand up.
yeah. Sounds like a great idea, man.
But
Like,
yeah, that's what we're doing on Pink Sock. Do you have any questions for me, horror related, before we?
whoa. Are you gonna? Have you ever watched any of the Saw movies though?
Um, I need to start watching them again because there for a while. I don't know if it's I'm still like this, so I have to test the waters. I was really weird with gore, like that kind of gore, like torture gore, because like my
Yeah,
brain puts myself in that position and I just freak out. Um, but there's certain gore that I'm okay with, so I'm thinking about giving Saw a chance. But the issue with me is like the first movie I watched, and it had a story to it, a nice story. And then I watched the second one, and it seemed like they were just trying to be as graphic and as gory as possible, and they strayed away from the story.
Hmm. From what I've so what I'm reading from Saw X is the most well reviewed Saw movie ever. You know, it's got 85% tomato meter and 90. Let me have a. It's 90 something percent audience score or some shit.
See,
Yeah,
I
audience score 91%. So it's
I'd
pretty
love
good.
to watch them, but some of them are just ugh.
Too much. Yeah. Yeah. Um Apparently this Saw X is almost 2 hours long, but then it's more graphic than Terrifier 2, they reckon.
Dude, I just don't get it. Like, I watch horror movies for the story. I don't watch it
The gore and
torture
shit.
for torture porn. I don't do that.
Well, this is how I see these Saw movies. Um, Jigsaw is kind of like, I guess he's like Ivan Milat, correct?
What was that? I'm sorry.
Like Jigsaw in this movie is kind of reminds me of um I was gonna say Ivan Milat, the backpacker killer guy.
Oh yeah, I've heard that Saw was based on a real life killer. I didn't know their name, but yeah.
Yeah, and like Charles Manson,
Hmm.
I
Charles
think. But then,
Manson.
but see, Jigsaw to me, he kidnaps bad people and he punishes them.
So is
You
he
know,
really?
for
Is he a bad guy or a good guy,
I reckon he's a good guy, but it's just punishing the bad people for what they done.
bro? Hear me out. This sounds like a fucking Marvel or DC superhero, bro.
Yeah,
Like an anti-hero or whatever you call it.
yeah. But like, well, because when you think of it, um, if you watch Jigsaw, um, he kidnaps all these people, and they have like flashbacks of the sins what they done.
So I'm gonna have to give Saw a chance. It's just the fucking gore porn, dude. Like I can't. I look away. I look away from it. It
It
freaks
took
me.
me a while, but Saw One was a masterpiece because it was just like two guys in the basement, really trying to figure out how they got there, and
Mhm.
and it was smart too because that movie, if I'm corrected on this, that there were two film students.
I do believe the first Saw was kind of a. It's B-rated, but it wasn't. They had a budget.
No, it wasn't. And it just became like this big fucking thing.
Yeah, like
I think it was the two directors. One of them was Australian, I believe so, and the other guy's name was James Wan. He directed I think he directed the Conjuring movies. I think, and all that shit. So
so. The
yeah.
dude's a fucking genius when it comes to movies.
I think so, yeah. But to have two filmmakers at filmmaking school, so let's make a horror movie, but it just be about like just the two guys that were just locked up in the basement. They don't know how they got there.
See, that's cool. So what's the second one about though? Don't they? Doesn't he have
The,
his own place by that point, and he's
the
just
second
working?
one, the second, I think the second one kind of leads off from the first, but then the police officers, um, you know, uh, into it and trying to figure out what's going on and all that. The one with Chris Rock, I think it was it Chris Rock or Chris Tuck? No, Chris Rock.
Chris Rock.
Chris Rock and Samuel L. Jackson in Spiral Book of Saw. I remember watching that in theaters. That was actually pretty good.
I've not seen that one, but I remember seeing the commercial, and it's like Samuel L. Jackson and Chris Rock, and I thought to myself, that's
Yeah,
a weird cast for a Saw movie.
but it was really good. It was well done. I think that was sort of like a prequel ish, or I think it was its own movie. But I think Saw X is a prequel to that.
All these movies are fucking prequels and sequels and all kinds of shit.
Prequels.
But requel,
Yeah.
like,
Um. Yeah, I agree. Question two. Scream 7 is in the works. I think that's yeah, I think that's coming out next year. You
I
reckon
heard
Nev Campbell be? You reckon Nev Campbell be making a comeback?
if they pay her enough, and also, I heard that this Scream might be the last.
So I've heard, and it's new directors and writers too.
See, I was kind of weary because I do know that Wes Craven, when he was alive, he was working on doing up to 7 Scream movies. He was working on 2 of them when he was alive. So, how
Mm.
much of the original story do you think is there?
I reckon if Craven was still alive, I reckon he would have kept kind of
Yeah.
like the original
Hmm.
plot leading up to 7. Um, but since his passing, it kind of after Scream 3, it kind of just went down a little bit. Like Scream 4 went to like too comedian,
It
you
was
know.
very comedic. Scream, what was it, 4 was the one that had Jan Silent
Oh,
Bob in it.
yeah, and no, they were in Scream 3, I believe.
Oh, okay. So, like at 3 and beyond, but 3 was still kind of a horror movie, but it was more of a comedic idea. Which,
Yeah, but
honestly, Scream always was a comedic idea, though. Think about it. The first one, they made fun of like Halloween, and they made fun of like it was always like a laugh at Hollywood, but in an actual horror movie sense. Like that's why Scream is different than other horror movies. It's a comedy as well as an actual horror, and it makes fun of Hollywood's horror movies. So that's kind of weird because it goes back to the Scary Movie series. They made fun of Scream, but they were making fun of a movie that was making fun of movies.
yeah, um, but who knows where this one would lead to? I think this one is going overseas. I think
It's
I haven't
going
really read too much, but I think it's like it's not going to be I don't think it's going to be filmed in Woodsboro or anything like that, which is
it's
kind of
probably
weird.
bro, it's probably going to take place in space. Um, that's the
Yeah,
that's the only place that they haven't gone is space.
yeah, Ghost
And
Base in space.
Ghostface in space is going to fucking happen.
Yeah. Well, we already hit the 1 hour mark already, but then I also want to bring up your new project that I know we've been talking about
Hmm.
called this one.
Yes, Meditations of a Medicated Mind. I know it's hard to say sometimes.
Yeah.
Um, Now, people have asked me what this project is. It is basically whenever I medicate. Now, I am a medical marijuana patient in the state of Ohio. Um, I medicate pretty heavily at night usually because that's when all the reality of life comes at you is when you're by yourself at night.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking to help other people that deal with the things I do or to give advice or get philosophical or get funny or whatever I want to do that episode or whatever comes to my mind. I'm going to get really medicated and I'm going to go live at night and I'm going to pretty much just talk, like ideas that I get. And then I'm going to give my advice on those things like anxiety or shit. And then I'm going to like get philosophical and go into like the universe and talk about the universe and whatever my mind goes to, it's going to go.
Yeah.
It's basically a more intimate, in depth look into the psyche of the mind live, at least my mind. And I'm going to probably bring guests on occasionally, and we're going to medicate and just talk about life, the universe, anxieties, and get their mindset and their advice and their thoughts on it. And basically get really dark, really deep, really funny, whatever we do. It's pretty much like Pinksock, but on steroids.
I reckon Joe Rogan would be a good fit in that show.
I would love to have him on. I honestly am thinking like if this thing takes off more than Pinksock, just make it my next thing.
Yeah. And
Like
keep
if
Pink's like as like a casual thing.
yeah, and like if your thing, which I know it will, takes off too, you can do your thing. I'll do medications of a medicated mind, and then we can do Pinksock in the middle, and like do it once a
Yeah.
month or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that sounds good. And that'll be on Facebook as well. Facebook,
And
YouTube.
it's going to be on Facebook, YouTube. Also, Pinksock is now going to be on my Facebook page, like the Mike Usenick Facebook page, YouTube, the Pinksock Facebook page. Like I'm putting it everywhere because people want to watch it and they don't go to YouTube. So I'm just going to be live on every platform that I've got, except for like Instagram and all those. But like Facebook and YouTube, I'm going to be on my personal and public page and all the pages that I have for Pinksock and on YouTube. Because I figured if people want to listen to it, they can listen to it wherever they want. I don't need to keep track of where they're listening to it or whatever. It's not like I'm making money off of it on YouTube anyway. So
Well, I'm gonna stick it to YouTube, and I want to probably put this onto Spotify. So if you can help me out with some Spotify shit as well, that'd be great.
For any podcasters listening, if you want to be on YouTube, Spotify and shit, for podcasters it is free. Anchor.fm, make an account, Garak. It is free. You just upload your episode on there, like you save it in the StreamYard studio, and I will go through all this with you, and then you can upload it straight to Spotify. You just type in the description, you type in the title, and it will just go straight to Spotify.
Well, I need a Spotify account, like a separate Spotify account, though.
No, because when you make your Anchor account, it asks what you want your channel to be called and all of that shit. It just does it for you. It does it all for you right on Anchor FM, bro. All of it. You can even do a special cover photo. You do the description of your show, whatever. And if you want to do a separate show, then you create a separate Anchor account, and then it'll create a separate Spotify account for you.
Nice. And this is free, is it?
Free as hell, dude. You just make an account.
Awesome. I'm gonna make one up right now.
All right,
dude.
Anything else you wanted to cover?
No. We have one more hour to go before Pinksock, so
yeah, dude. And I'm getting fucking tired. I'm thinking about rescheduling the interview I have at 2.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it.
If you want to do that, we can do that, because then I can sleep and we can rest up, and I can probably try and do this this Anchor thing, for a bit. But
I'm still doing the noon Pinksock. I meant like we have a pre-recorded. I know you can't make it. I have a pre-recorded at 2 my time, and I'm thinking about just rescheduling that for next week.
Yeah.
So that you can be there, we can be rested up, because I've got a lot of shit to do today. Not to spill any beans, but rumor has it that 2 White is going in the studio today.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And yeah, I'm going to be tired as fuck, but it's worth the grind. I'm going to be in the studio with some local hip hop artists. Well, I'm going to be there, but 2 White's going to be the one working. He's going to be doing like hip hop and shit, and it's going to be fun. I don't know if we're going to actually have him record or not, but we are going to be tossing ideas. Because 2 White plans on having a song by the time he gets interviewed for the first time ever on WTHC Radio, which is another project I'm doing. I'm going to be a regular on that show. It's a cannabis-related morning radio show.
Yeah.
And 2 White's going to be on there, and I'm going to be on there.
It's going to be a busy 3 months to the end of the year. Well, 2 months, I should say.
It is, because I've also got a stand-up comedy show in the works for December.
Yeah. Bro, you're a busy man, and I love it. So, dude, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it. I know this was a very last moment. It was kind of it's kind of like the support band quit, So it's like, hey, can you like jump on this bill quickly?
Bro, the
that's
thing
how it's kind of like.
I know I'm busy as fuck, and I have been busy as fuck, but bro, you wake up every morning at fucking 3 a.m. to do Pinksock, or 2 a.m. or whatever. The least I can do is show up on your show for an hour or 2 and shoot the shit.
Yeah, man.
Like, you've helped me out tremendously.
Yeah.
Now, Pinksock might be taking a little break. Like, we're still going to do the show, of course, but I'm probably going to be doing less than I've been doing, because it's hard to do the reacts, and then 3 other podcasts, and then the radio show, and stand-up comedy, and being in the studio, and literally my entire day is booked. I squeezed you in because I just happened to be awake.
At the right time.
Yeah, you had the right time.
Yeah,
I
dude.
love the fuck out of you, Garak, and I appreciate you doing this.
No, shout out to you, all my friends and people that I know that is awesome and supporting this. I would like to see this grow and see where will this lead, go in 2024 because I reckon this is just the beginning and I reckon next year will be fucking huge, you
Bro,
know.
I am here to help you as much as you need help because I believe in you.
Yeah, I believe in myself too. You got to,
You got it. I
you
believe in
know.
myself too. Like, I'm not going to say that I'm going to be able to be here all the time, but I will help as much as I can.
Yeah, man. Well, let's just end it now, man. Thanks for coming on, and guys, don't forget to like and subscribe, and go follow us in Pinksock, man, because we always like to talk about some weird shit. But
That can be
anyway,
that can be found at allmylinks.com/pinksock podcast. Do you have an all my links yet for, and I am accepting bookings, by the way, for comedy. Do you have an all my links yet for this?
yes, I do. Um, it's in my Instagram profile, so
What
I
is the
put
all my
the
links?
something. I need to go on my Instagram. Like it's all my links something.
Let me
Um,
find it for you, Grant, because you've been advertising Pink Sock, bro, but we need to advertise this too. So let's get you up, and I will get the link for you, and I will help you promote the fuck out of this. Let's do this. You can't question.
so
You can't question my
what?
dedication. By the way, I'm here.
Yeah. Um, so all my links at Ghouls Gone Wild podcast um is there. And I've also have other links from other podcasts that I've been doing. Obviously Pinksock, um, the Halloween Ends episode I did on the MGC connection and the Death Comes Lifting one. It's up on there as well. So if you guys want to check it out and just yeah,
Give me
head
one.
on over and click on those links, baby.
I'm gonna help you out real quick. Just
Yeah,
real
you're
quick.
right.
Just real quick. Let me get this going here. I had to log into my YouTube. In the chat, I put. Well, guess what? It won't let me. It won't let me post links, but I put in the private chat what yours is. It is allmylinks.com/Garak. It's like not the underscore, but like the dash or whatever, the line.
Yeah.
1985.
Yep. So yeah, guys. This was episode 1. So see you guys next week or whenever I do another one of these bad boys. But I think next week Zach from Death Comes Lifting will be on. So
Fuck yeah.
and I'm not too sure if it's gonna be live or pre-recorded, but whatever. Let's see where it goes. But guys,
Thank you, brother, for having me on. It's an honor.
stay creepy.
Oh, you cut out. Greg, you cut out. You turned your mic off.
Wait, yeah. I fucking hell.
There you go. You're good.
Yeah.
Creepy,
So
bro.
guys, stay spooky, be nice, be kind, and don't be a cunt. Anyway, guys, love you. Bye.
Love y'all.